So, welcome to Nothing Interviews. Today, I have with me Ivan First. So, good day to you. How are you today?
Hello, hi. Hey, fine, thanks. Nice to meet you. Nice to be here in the conversation. Hi.
Yeah, I I have watched the video, the Nothing conference, the Void Village that you have sent. I watched the full video.
Mhm.
I like perhaps one of my first question is like what is the story of Ivan? Like in a relative sense. I know it's a story, but what how did your story unfolded? Like what or maybe I don't know, maybe you can share something about that.
Yeah, it's hard to say because in the moment I speak about it, it's just a kind of invention. So if I talk of the personal story of Ivan as a separate self living in a separate world, yeah, it always remains a kind of story I'm reflecting about and picking out some important points and talk about them. Yes, I'm born in Italy. I raised up in Austria. I'm a human rights lawyer and social worker, and yes, father of two children. And I give non-duality talks and work as a shaman.
Hmm. Yeah. That's like oh you I noticed that when I watch your interview, I get the sense of the rawness, the radicalness of your the words. Like I feel like wanting to ask, how do you? This is we live in a relative world where concepts are there. There are concepts, there are names, there are labels, and it makes me want to ask, like, how do radical non-dualists, let's use that for lack of a better word, like how do you, I don't know how what word to use except integrate, or how do you how do you non how do you
The how is already a problem, to be sincere. Yes, because I don't know how. Yeah,
hmm,
I just can try to perceive what is happening, and my mind is putting concept, a kind of concept on everything popping up in, let's say, consciousness. But even consciousness is just a, a concept, a word, trying to explain a kind of altered state in which we perceive what seems to happen.
yeah. I
But
I
the how is always I don't know how or why, how to do this or how to do that, or why something happened, or why my kind of perception changed in maybe in a kind of opener state. But yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard. To ask me something is hard. Yes.
yeah, no, I kind of like what you're saying, because I got to the point where one of the existential dilemmas I had was everything is a concept. Everything is mind. Put like everything is mind talking to itself, and even what I said is a concept. Even what I said is an idea, and I was like, so if everything is an idea, then then what's and I cannot go beyond ideas or concept. I can only, like, the mirror will always not know that it's a mirror. It will just reflect and reflect. Like the knife will never know it's a knife. It will just slice and slice. So I was like in an existential dilemma of then what is like I got the frustration of I cannot go beyond mind. So I feel like, what is the purpose? I had that point where, what is the purpose of this? If there's nothing but this, then what is the purpose of the illusion? What is the purpose of I don't know, the appearances? I don't know. And I know you can only answer from the realm of knowledge or passed on ideas or concepts. and and I don't know, I did you also struggle with that? With that kind of, everything is mind, and you cannot get out of a prison using the same mind. And I don't know how.
Yeah, it's a story of the ego that seems to be lost in a kind of world where even there is no free will, and you seem to be a kind of a puppy, really not knowing what is going on, but in the search of something that is beneath of everything that can be grasped in any kind of way. So it seems to be a helpless state, but what you mentioned the knife cutting, and knowing that it is a knife cutting. The purpose of this seems to be the reflection of that directly, the awareness of the reflection. That's everything. And this is already great, because if you compare it with animals or with flowers or minerals, they are also in this world, but they haven't got the possibility to reflect on the reflection. And that's already great. For me, everything that is happening is a great wonder, and I'm really grateful to experience it, even if I know that my mind is always putting a kind of concept of everything. It's comparing everything that appears with past happenings, analyzing them and reflecting them in the present, in the seemingly present moment, or in the future. So I know that I'm a kind of slave of the mind work, and also the work of the emotions. But yeah, this on the other side is total freedom, because if the person, uh, the kind of what seems to be a person is unveiled, and the concept falls down, then it's great and it's wonderful that they don't have got the duty to decide what to do, or to go through life always on the search of improvement and to be a better man, and to escape from reincarnation. And yeah, it was, in reality, this is the big burden, a burden that the mind tries to show us as an illusion. But yeah, if the burden falls away, that what remains is great freedom, and there's nothing to be frightened about that. For me, it was like standing at the top of a mountain and having the fear of jumping down, because if I jump down off the cliffs, I don't know if I die or if life takes care of me. And when I jumped down the cliffs, I realized that I don't die, that I never will die, that life is taking care of this, and I'm a kind of mirror of that, and I have the chance to see it and to melt into silence, into our real state of mind that is beneath of the cheating of the mind going on day and day day on day and analyzing and reflecting and struggling and yeah.
I see. It's
If the
like,
mind gets silent, you don't focus on it. It's clear that I reflect about things and the mind doesn't stop to work. But the mind is just another part of that what seems to happen as an illusion, and I'm not bad about my mind and about my consciousness, because yes, they are also part of this, even if they are an illusion. Always, also an illusion is something that happens. The only problem is that we just think the illusion is everything. Yeah.
I see. It seems like you have made peace with everything appearing. Like it's not, there's no more resistance to whatever, because mind will just be mind. It will just keep blabbing thoughts. It will just,
Yeah.
it will not stop. It's the way it's the way it functions, so to speak. Like, and I like the analogy of the jumping on the jumping on the cliff, because you have this fear of dying or whatever, but there's also another possibility of life taking care of itself, supporting, even if you jump on it or not. I like, it makes me like, the question that arises is, the how do you see death, or what is death to you?
Yeah, you always have to separate it a bit. If you talk about bodies or other material things surrounding us, it's clear that they are always changing. Death is just another word for a kind of change that is always happening. You can also say everything is dying in every instant, but on the other side, nothing is ever born, because this is just this. And if nothing is born, nothing can change, can die. It's more like a kind of energy flow that is transforming itself, getting another body, being another element, maybe before it was rain and afterwards it comes to the earth and a flower is coming out and the flower is dying and getting earth again, and out of earth something new is popping up in a relative world. Yes, this is just a word. It's a kind of pointer to that everything is changing. Yes.
Yeah, in a constant.
It's clear that I can't give you an answer where I will pop out if my body is dying. But I have also lost the interest to think about it, because I will see what is going on. And I will see what is going on with that what seems to perceive the world if my body is dying. Everything else is a kind of lottery talking about it. I don't know, but I also lost the interest about it. What happens about death, or does reincarnation really happen or not? Or yeah.
Oh, did you also play with those ideas before, like reincarnation, or those ideas about karma, or those ideas from India where I don't know, or wherever?
It's logical. My kind of realizing what is happening happened out in nature. I never have been a spiritual person before. I just worked as a shaman and spent lots of time in nature, and then it suddenly made click, and then I got some interest in Indian religion, because because it tried to describe what I'm perceiving. And so 90% of the things I perceive in daily life are just uninteresting, because they are always stories happening in an elusive world. And then I got some spiritual interest in Indian or other religions, and I always have been interested in pointing out and in the points that point to that what I'm perceiving. And so I found it interesting studying these things, because yes, I find it wonderful if someone can write it down and explain it in words, because I can't do it. For me, it's very difficult to talk about it. And if I read old scriptures, old Indian Gitas that are more than 3,000 years old, try to describe it, even the description is just a story. And yeah, you put gods in it, and you give God a name, and you talk about paths and ways and things you could do in order to get to where you can't get. Yeah, I find it just interesting. Yes.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice that to know that I'm talking to a shaman, because I have shaman friends when I had my ayahuasca last year, late last year, and I don't know what happened during the journey, but you really cannot explain. The only thing, it's just a random spontaneity when I had it, and when we were trying to talk about it after, I cannot speak what happened. It feels like nature took over, or nature took over, and it was never. It was the first time I can look at the person straight in the eye. My hands were dancing like like I don't know, like the wind, and it's really a beautiful story, a beautiful experience.
Beautiful experience, pointing to that nature is doing everything. And even if you can say you used some substances in order to get that view on what seems to happen, also that is that what happens. Everything that we try to analyze by our senses seems to be in an outer world, having a kind of material quality, but at the end, everything is just a projection of mind. Even if you don't have taken ayahuasca right now, this is just the world our chemical system builds up, and this seems to be the only world. The real world, a material world, an outside world where a separate self is living, making decisions based on things that happened in the past, living a separate life in the aim of love, searching for love, and having fear of I don't know, depressions, and that things go worse and that you make these wrong decisions. But yes, as you have seen with ayahuasca, everything is just happening. It's the same world. If I drink a coffee in the morning, I'm also in a different kind of state than if I drink some juice.
Exactly.
And the charm, I never use any kind of substances, or if I work as a shaman, the real shaman is doing nothing. A shaman is always a kind of a kind of portal that opens, and through that portal, shamanic work is happening. do some healing work, for example, this is just what happens. I don't think about where I put my hands next, or if I use my drums, or if I have to sing or wear some funny clothes. I'm just open to what is happening. And then in the flow of working as a shaman, the work just happens. And yeah, but I never said that I do anything. It's just what comes out. And so working as a shaman and non-duality are the same thing. A good shaman is always someone who looks behind the veil, who sees the veil as something that is here, but is not everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you mentioned about the veil, and can we really go beyond the veil, or is a veil, is it the illusion of, I, this is just a theory. Everything I'm saying is just a theory. Like, because I really don't know. Because I feel like the idea of beyond the veil is another veil in itself. Like whoever's, I don't know. I really don't know. But what can you say about the word beyond the veil? Because I
Yeah.
heard it. I've heard a lot of the word the word veil is being used when it comes to going beyond the illusion. But in my
Yeah. Now it's the same. You could put that word or that concept in the same category as even the word illusion, because it means the same thing. Veil and illusion is the same, and even nothing that happens is an illusion. I also use the word illusion to point to it, but to be sincere, there is even no kind of illusion. This is just what happens, and it's not possible to put any kind of concept on it, to use any word to point to it. It's more like if I use the word veil, it's more the energy that is in the word veil. It's a kind of urging for seeing behind that word that happens if I use it. The word is a trigger. A trigger, for example, for you to be interested to know what is behind. And even if there's nothing behind, as I use that trigger, it triggers in you to open the mind a bit, to think about, to reflect what could be meant by veil. And if this what is behind veil, what is before the veil. Yeah, words are always good to point to that what can't be described. But I, for example, enjoyed just to sit in nature and be silent, or to share that silence also with friends. If I go out in nature and I find a wonderful place at the top of a mountain or in the middle of the forest, we all sit down. We even don't meditate. We just sit down and get calm, and everything is unfolding itself. It's like seeing behind the veil just because you do nothing. Yes, it's hard to talk about. I don't know if you can understand anything of what I'm saying, but yeah, it's really hard to explain. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I find the word veil not so bad, even it's just a word.
mm,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. I yeah, I understand in the, I don't know, it's like in an energetic way. Like I mean in the realm of the energy that the word itself is presenting.
It's similar like when I talk to people and then they say they have been in states of silence and it's so terrible that they fall out of this state and they are searching to get back in silence. It's the same. You never fall out of silence. It's just another perception that you have got, maybe in the moment you are fallen out, than in the moment where you sit in nature and everything is silent. But there are no two categories, either being inside or being outside, or being in silence or being in a state of where the mind is very active and cheating the whole time. It's logical that it feels better if I sit in nature and then I enjoy the energy of the place. But even if I'm in the state where the mind is always cheating, that's what happens. Yeah, I can't choose it. Everyone always wants to pick out the positive things. So, as always, some people think that if you wake up, you love everything, or everything is great, and you're in peace with yourself, and you're in peace with everyone around you, and you are not mad about someone, or yeah, that's not what. But this is just a story. That's not what's happening. What is happening is this, and there is no difference between anything.
Oh yes, I love what you said. I really love it because I wrote I wrote the other day on my notes that even your rage and tears is as perfect as bliss and happy. Like it's all it's all part of the whole. Like it's not like you're angry and you're sad. Like the rain is not bad compared with sunny. Like the storm and the tornado and the volcano is all perfection, and it's not different from a sunny day or a summer or a winter or something like that.
Yeah, but it's clear that the ego also wants to be on the sunny side of life. Yeah,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
also wants to pick out these positive things. Are very often people from the love and light fraction always are searching for this peace and love instantly. But yes, also the Indian religion told us that at the beginning everything was the absolute, and in a kind, the absolute was fed up of being always in the state of everything is absolute. And so it created the relative world in order to have a reflection, in order to see a kind of difference between the relative part of life and the absolute. Yes, the life is a kind of constant polarity that showing coming up.
yeah. Wow, yes.
So it's raining and it's and the sun is shining, and yes, you are dreaming at night and you are waking up. You are depressed or you feel happy. You are sad. It's wonderful that we have got all these emotions. I find it great, and that's also wonderful that we can experience it. And we come back at the beginning of our talk. I find it wonderful that I can experience it, even if sometimes life is not so wonderful. Yes, shit happens.
Oh yes, that's really beautiful because you cannot experience extreme joy if you haven't experienced the opposite or the extreme the sadness or fear, confidence, or it's like it like in the rawness of it, it's just contrast to experience this and this. So that
The great thing is that there isn't anyone experiencing it. That's just what happens. Because if the ego thinks it's experiencing it, in that moment he tries to get out of it something. If I experience it, it has to be felt good or it has to feel felt bad. But if you don't experience it, you don't grasp on that what happens. In the moment you experience something, it always it already has passed. So in reality, you can't experience anything. In the moment your senses reflect on it, it already happened.
Like in a sense, the only direct experience is now. what the past and the future is the ego's clinging to
making a history out of it. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was like, maybe I can ask you like, what for you is the word awakening? How do you like in a what how would you explain awakening to someone who asks you about what can you say about what an awakening is?
I don't know. I really can't say it because it never happened. I don't know. You have to ask them that. You ask the people who have awaked. I don't know. What seems to be understood is that your kind of perception is changing from one state to another, from an unawakened state to an awakened state. But yeah, I don't know, like we talked before, what is awake and what not. If the mind is always cheating and you only identify with the mind cheating, that's also what is happening. So you can't say that if you realize your mind cheating and don't identify with that, that would be a better state than the other one. Yes, that's not happening. So I can't say it. In my case, it was it's more like a realization that you have, and out of that, the energy that is surrounding you changes in a way. Before the realization, it's more that in an energetic way, everything is closed and struggling, and the energy is trying to put you in any kind of concepts. And after the realization, there's a kind of openness surrounding everything. But nothing has awaked or nothing has realized it. But it's always, a kind of word pointing to that other, maybe other state. But it's I don't know.
Oh yes. It's like just a shift in perception or just something like that.
Now who is unawakened? Yeah,
that's right. I it's I don't know. To me it's just a 9-letter word. Awakening in the simplest form.
because awakening would mean that there is, in the story of the me, there is a kind of improvement you could do from unawakened to awakened. So it would mean that there is a kind of improvement in what is happening. But yes, there's no improvement because there is no person, there's nothing happening, there is no before or after, there isn't even any kind of concept, time and space matrix happening. Yes, every word and every letter in every word is a concept. Even the letters are just concepts. So at the end, nothing is there to grasp to it. If we talk about the who am I question asked very often in the Indian religion, or if you read Ramana Maharishi, and he's using this technique in order to point to nothingness, even at the end of his inquiry, nothing remains. Everything falls away because everything is in a kind relative. Yeah. Even relative is the wrong word, but yes, let's name it in that way. We are forced to talk to each other right now, so I have to use some words.
Oh yes. I I wonder if I know you've been. I wonder what people ask if you've been talking about, like, what I ask people is, what is the most asked question when you're in a forum like this? And what do people ask you most? Or what do people want to talk about when you go to interview and conversations or satsangs about non-duality?
What is this? What is this? Or what do the people think? How do they describe it? Or they ask me what I think this is. I never can say what this is. I just enjoy to talk with people about this because it's the biggest gift we can have to realize that there is another matrix and we are not aware of it. I can't help everyone to get there. I can't give any tips or I can only describe it in my words. But yes, I enjoyed to do it because it's the biggest gift to talk about it and to reflect about it. But I also enjoy to sit in silence with people in the forest. So yes, and then no word is spoken. But the main question is, what is this? And I found it great that people are interested to get an answer to this question because it's the most essential question, but nearly no one asks himself this. We are all living in a kind of illusion and nearly no one reflects about it. Everyone thinks, yeah, that's clear that I'm a separate person and I make my decisions and I'm want to have a wonderful life and I'm afraid of fear and I want to improve and yeah, but no one asks, is this really happening or is this just an illusion? Yes.
Yes, exactly. I The question of, yeah, what is this, or
What
and
is this? Or the people want to know how is it afterwards? How do you feel? How does your personality has changed? Are you, like I said before, are you always in love with everything? Have you got some magical power? um, I don't know. Yes. Oh, very interesting questions. Yes.
oh yes. I I was talking about this with a friend. I feel like, to me, in my personal experience, it's like the loss of context. Like, the experience now is not better than yours. It's non-contextual. It's like there's no more better than this. There's no, I don't know. I don't want the
Now,
more.
there's no one, but no, yeah, maybe I could also say there's nothing better, but what really seems to happen is that your energy quality is changing due to the fact that your mind is not struggling always. Um, you are more focused on that, what is really happening in that moment, and this brings much more silence in your life. I'm I'm to be present has a kind of good quality because you stop struggling. Even the mind goes on cheating, but it's not cheating so often anymore. Or if it's cheating, I don't focus about it. It's like if I watch TV, and before I thought everything that is that I can perceive on the TV is really happening. And now I continue to watch TV, but I don't identify with what I see on the screen. And so I enjoy it more because I'm not so frightened. I don't think I'm a part of that what is happening on the TV screen. Yes, I, that what seems to happen is a kind of energetical quality that you enjoy. But I also see it in my children. If they are out in the garden and play, and they are just enjoying life, they don't struggle so much. Oh God, tomorrow I have to go in the kindergarten, or what should I eat at night? Or they are just enjoying life, and this kind of quality came back, or I realized that it's a part of me. I just forgot it because my mind was always cheating. But if the mind gets silent, this other quality comes out. And yes, it's like um, it's clear that I lost the interest in the most parts of the things that happened, because they are in an elusive world. But on the other side, I'm exploring life again because I see everything out of another view than before. Um, I don't know. Maybe before I made a walk out in nature, but I haven't really been in nature because I always was thinking about anything in my mind. What will I do next? Or what do I do after the walk? And now I go through nature and I listen to the birds singing, or I see a small flower that comes out between bricks. And I think, great that a flower comes out of bricks or other things. So it's great to explore the world again. And it's great that I don't have the duty to decide what is happening. I just can enjoy what is happening. And if painful things happen, they are maybe also painfuler than before because just the pain is happening, but it's more authentic because um, um, because the pain is unfolding, but I don't combine it with a story I identify with. So yes, I'm much more aware of the things that happen, and that makes life great. And I'm happy to be in this world. And if the body dies, I will see what will go on. I don't know.
it oh, just a second, my dog is just he's barking outside the room. So I don't know, I what you just said is, I don't know, it gave a sense of, I don't even want to put it into words. I feel like if I put some word to it and then I ask another question to it, it will lead to more words. And then one question leads to another, one answer leads to another. It's like, I don't know, there's some sense of perfection with the last answer that you have, that was answered. It was beautiful, it was perfect. It sounds like the energy in that, in the words you mentioned. I don't I really cannot put it the words. It's like it's an unspoken perfection from what you just said. It's it every time I ask people, I do interviews, there's a lot of like set questions in mind, but it seems like it dissolves. Like the 10 question or the 15 question becomes 5 or
Sure, sure, yeah. But you see how the things unfold himself. That's also great. Um, it's clear that you have maybe to be a bit prepared before you make the interview, but I find it great how the things unfold, and also how our story now is going. going on. We don't know what we will talk in 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes we will see what happens, and this is great. Yes.
Oh yes. I used to ask myself, how will Leonard's life unfold? What will he do next? Although it can be an idea, it can suddenly be conceptualized, but I find it fun to watch how Leonard would, how the story will unfold in its own way. It's kind of, it's like watching a movie and it's like every day there's twists. Like it gives you a certain flavor or a twist. And it makes life more fun or exciting in a way.
And it's great to perceive it, even you're not identified with the person, Leonard. It's great to see him. And I find it also great that since I was born, I always lived with Ivan together. And it's clear that in one moment in life, it seemed to happen that I identified with that. But now it's great to perceive Ivan going through life, and I enjoy it more than before. And I also take more care about Ivan. I see it, for example, in my body. I find it so wonderful that I've got a body that makes it possible to receive everything, that I care much more about him. Before it was clear that I have got a body and I didn't care about it because I thought I'm the body. Now the body is a kind makes it possible to perceive everything, and so I care much more about him. I don't waste him like before. I stopped smoking and I begin to make more sport because I see that's good for my body, and I feel that I've got much more energy and I feel more healthy. But this is what happens. Yes.
Yes.
So out of a natural awareness, you respect things more, and maybe you also respect more the stories of Leonard, or the story of Ivan right now, or his traumata he had when he was a child or before. I don't want to solve them. I don't want to blame traumatic things that happened maybe in the past. But I care about them more if they pop out right now, because I see them as a story that happened, and I don't have to give the guilt to anybody. I don't have to solve them. I don't have to find them wonderful and think I'm happy with my traumas and I don't care about them. This is just what happens. And yes, we will see how the story goes on, like you said. How Ivan will be in a year or in 5 seconds or in the next instant. I don't know.
Oh yes, I can definitely relate to your, like recently I love Leonard more. Like there's no the inner critic of you're bad, you're such a, it's diminishing, it diminished, or something like it loved it unconditionally. It's the loss of judgment to the self, to the story of Leonard, since Leonard is an idea. Why I because like a friend asked me, like, why do you post different topics and you don't believe it? Like they don't get, like he doesn't get why yesterday I feel like I'm a Catholic. The next day I feel like there's no God. And then the next day I feel like there's a Zen monk. And then I before I used to judge myself like, am I a con man, or but right now I feel like I'm just playing with life's open possibilities of not judging whatever belief systems there are. And then that was like a sudden switch of it, that part of the story is just asking me to love it unconditionally. It's not like not like a bad thing to not be attached to one belief. For me, belief is just a story. So I like I can be a Catholic today in a sense of believing in it, but because I was raised in that religion. But tomorrow I can be a Buddhist or I can be a Zen monk, or I can just play with with life, and I just love the character for who he is. What with no.
Yeah, that's so wonderful and so great. I enjoy it too. Because these concepts fall away and you just enjoy them. Or very often people thought that's very strange. I talk about non-duality, and then the other way, I blame other people, or sometimes I'm mad about someone, or I don't know. I don't hear to Indian fluid music, but I enjoy to hear techno or hardcore, and this is not very I don't know. People try to put me in a concept very often, and all concepts fall away. I can enjoy life and I can enjoy everything. I can enjoy drinking a beer and eating meat, and I don't have to be vegan, and I don't know, love everyone. This is just what happenings, and that's the greatest freedom in everything. And tomorrow I also raised as a Christ, and I've also got a connection to Jesus, if you would say it. But this is just what happens. Even if I'm a non-dual speaker, it doesn't mean that I have lost my contact to Jesus. I don't know what is going on. But this is happening. Yes. Maybe
Yes.
tomorrow I pray to Krishna, or enjoy doing a mantra, or I don't know, making a shamanic dance and dance with my natural gods I have who assist me, the lion and the wolf and the eagle flying, and I connect to them and I use their energy if I do my shamanic work. That all is happening. And yes, and I enjoy it, and I don't, for me, it makes no difference if this is all an illusion or not, because there is no illusion. This is what is happening, and I can't stop it, and I don't want to stop it, and I don't want to put me in any kind of category in order that other people think I should be this way or that way. Yeah.
Oh yes. I'm so happy with what everything you just said. It's like before I judge myself with contradicting myself, I say one thing last week and I do something completely the exact opposite of what I believed in yesterday. And right now I feel okay with it. Like it's just it's just a certain level of liberation. If it's a certain bliss where you can just break the box and not put yourself in a contextual.
Great, yeah. And I'm very often very surprised about it, as it could happen that in the next instant moment I see the thing differently. Yeah. And as you see, you can't grasp everything. You can't grasp and nothing.
Conversation. To be honest, I prepared questions because I don't know how. It, Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm spontaneous. It's how things happen. But I didn't I didn't expect how things turned out. I'm 100. I'm just in a lot of bliss right now. But who knows what's gonna happen later? It's just beautiful. Thank you so much for your time with me today. Uh, I don't know. Do you still talk to people, or do you still do podcasts? Like if or online or something, if people are interested with talking to you about.
Once a week, I give talks online. I do it since a very long time. Before the COVID pandemic started, I always saw it's a great way to contact to people as you, for example, I have never met you. You live in the Philippines, I live in Austria, and I'm very interested in meeting people who are asking themselves what is going on, and are interested to talk to them. And yes, I'm here. If you want to talk to me, I'm here.
Oh yes. Do you like have a website or an or how do they, what's the quickest way to contact or reach you if they want to talk about this?
I've got the website and a YouTube channel, and on Facebook you can find me. The better way is just to search for my name, and then you find me. Yes.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna put the links on the description of this video so they can like just click it and they can find you. They can find your channel and your pages easily.
Find the channel, and if someone is coming here to Austria and wants to talk to me or visit me, everyone is welcome.
Oh yes, that's nice. I wish I
live
could.
close to Vienna. Vienna is a wonderful city. Austria has got a great nature. So also to you, Leonard, if you're coming to Europe, visit me.
Oh yes.
Would like to meet you. Yes.
If
In
it,
person. In
oh,
person, it's
sure.
always different. Yes.
Once the
In person.
lockdown, yeah, once the lockdown and the flight resumes, it's one of the things I look forward to.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's been a
Bye, my
pleasure.
friend. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Have a great weekend and the rest of your
Yes, you too. Yes. And enjoy life.
Ah, yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.